You're out there, you're making contact, you're talking to neighbors, you're knocking on doors, and you find somebody that's friendly and welcoming and warm, and you say, hey, do you know of anybody around here that might be interested in selling their house? And they go, well, yeah, actually, now that you mention it, there's a house just around the corner that is exactly like you're describing. And so we add that property to our watch list. The referral business that we get from people who know that we're in this business, they know the types of deals that we're looking for, and they know that we'll pay them if they bring us a deal. So on a referral deal, while calling on a property, you ask the owner if they know a neighbor or a friend that may be interested in selling their own house, or if they know of an address of an ugly house in the neighborhood. You then add the property to your watch list. So let me give you the scenario, okay? You're out there, you're making contact, you're talking to neighbors, you're knocking on doors, and you find somebody that's friendly and welcoming and warm, and you say, hey, do you know of anybody around here that might be interested in selling their house? And they go, well, yeah, actually, now that you mention it, there's a house just around the corner that is exactly like you're describing. And so we add that property to our watch list. Now, I'll tell you, a great source for this, when you guys are out and you see a postman or a mailman delivering mail, they know every junky house on their mail route, and they know every house where they've been shoving the envelope or the mailbox full of envelopes, and it's busting at the seams because nobody's checking the mailbox, or everything is being returned because there's been no forwarding mail address left. Postmen, post people, what's the politically correct term now? They're not postmen, they're postal carriers. Okay, there you go. Contact your postal carrier and they can tell you all about these properties. You then check it out. If you like it, you start a mail campaign or you send them an offer. In 1 week, you skip trace, you call the owner. If there's motivation, you schedule the appointment, you pull the debt stack, you determine if there's equity, you get it under contract, you order the inspection, you negotiate any price or alterations that may be needed based on the inspection, and you close. Here's an example. Now, the property that you're looking at is one that we purchased and rehabbed and sold back in 2021. We sold it to a gentleman named Glenn. Now, Glenn bought the house to help his son who had just gotten out of prison. So, hey, thanks, Dad, son, great job. You're out of jail now. Let's give you a fresh start. Here's a house. So Glenn put up the down payment and he was making payments for a few months, which was the agreement that his son would eventually assume responsibility for the property. Well, unfortunately, that never happened. 2 years later, Glenn paid his son $5,000 to get him out of the house, and unfortunately his son had done a lot of damage to the property. So Glenn looked us up online because he had bought the house from us. He knew that we bought homes, and he said, hey, would you guys mind buying this house back from me? So after speaking with Glenn, we pulled up the property profile report. We went out to meet him. But we discovered that Glenn had also met with several other buyers and ended up signing a contract with a wholesaler for more than we were willing to pay. Now, this is not uncommon, you guys, and you need to understand that there are wholesalers in every market. Many of you cite wholesalers as being your greatest competitor, but you need to understand that wholesalers are not your competitor. Wholesalers are simply going out and putting deals under contract and then blasting them out through Craigslist and other marketing channels, hoping to get somebody else to buy them. But if somebody else doesn't buy in, the wholesaler often doesn't close. And we told Glenn, we said, look, Glenn, we get it, you got a higher offer, but it's a wholesaler. They're not capital backed. They don't have a private money lender in their pocket. They're probably not going to close. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened to Glenn. He called us 10 days later. He said they didn't perform. They couldn't follow through. So he signed with us. We were able to get him out of a bad situation. So we purchased the property for the second time. We paid $160 for it. We put 27 grand into renovating it, fixing all of the things that Glenn's son had broken, and we sold that property for $249,000, generating another $60,000 in profit. So we had $68,000 on deal one. We've got about $60,000 on deal two. We've got another $50,000 on deal three. So right now we're sitting on $170,000 in profit on 3 transactions.